All right, let's talk about dive watches today. I don't know what it is, but I seem to have this affinity for dive watches, not only in my current collection, but just in terms of what I like to look at and put on the list to add to my collection for the future. I should point out that I am not a diver. In fact, I do not go scuba diving. When I do go snorkeling, the first few times I did that, I felt very claustrophobic, like I was going to drown. And I'm a water baby. I swim, I love the water, but yeah, I am not a diver. But dive watches are super cool and I love them. They just seem to kind of sing on my wrist a little bit too, so I kind of get into that. Now, I wanted to present some options that weren't the iconic Rolex Submariner. I love that watch. I only recently discovered that watch on a visit to a nice Rolex boutique, not the one I went on a rant about the other week. I'm on a list to get that watch. So look, I'm probably going to get that when I've got way more grays than I currently have. I'll probably be about 60 and I'll finally get the call and I'll be down there to grab it. But in the interim, I wanted to talk about alternative dive watches. And indeed, I own one of the watches we're going to talk about today. So let's not start with that one actually. Let's go to the first one. And I should point out a Rolex Submariner retail is about, depending on whether you get the date, is about $12,000. That's Australian. Here, brand new. Grey market, I can't tell you what it is, but it's certainly not 12,000. It's way more than that, as everyone knows, and it fluctuates. I was trying to keep this list close to what it would be like to acquire the Rolex from an AD. So somewhere around the 12,000 mark, give or take either way, okay? First, what I want to talk about is a brand that most of you probably know I really love and enjoy, that I've discovered more recently. I should say before I get to that, I've omitted Panerai for, in my view, obvious reasons. They make classic dive watches. They're generally a bit more than the price range we're talking about, and it just goes without saying that I love those watches, and we'll do a whole other video on just Panerai. But for now, I'm steering clear of my favorites and I'm going to some new, broadening my horizons. Let's talk about Breitling. These guys are super cool. All right, they make like amazing aviator watches. Like I mean, I don't even know how to fly a plane. I don't care because their watches are amazing. I just want one. My wife has an Endurance, which is a super cool sports watch that kind of goes with everything that she has. And she wears that watch and I have significant watch envy. So there's a couple of other watches I've been keeping my eye on. And there's one from the Super Ocean range, which is 100% in my view a dive watch. It's the Super Ocean Automatic 46. And I'm going to talk to you about the one in black steel because for some reason I seem to really like black watches. It's also got a rubber band, which again, I don't know why, I love them. They just kind of sing on my wrist. So let's talk about this one. Okay, so it is 46 millimeter, so it's on the bigger side. I love a big watch, as most of you know, and can pull it off, and many people can pull it off. You just got to give it a go, guys. So get out there and get them on your wrist and see what they feel like when they're on. Don't worry about what they look like off, try it on. Okay, this is a Breitling 17 caliber, which means it's not an in-house movement. It's actually from a Tudor movement and it's been modified to suit Breitling. And it's 2,000 meters water resistant. I'm never gonna need 2,000 meters water resistant, but the fact that that little beauty is 2,000 meters water resistant makes it super cool to me. So all in all, really solid offering from those guys, and it retails around 6,500. So it's pretty good value for what you get for your money in terms of a dive watch. All right, it's not 12,000 like a Rolex. It's not as iconic as the Rolex, but it's a Super Ocean, so it still comes with its own history and its own fun. I mean, Kelly Slater wears that watch in promos. Like, that's a cool dude. That's not why I would buy the watch, by the way. I just think it's a cool watch. Anyway, I digress. So let's try a different brand again. Another brand that I love, I own. I do not own this watch, but I own two, and it's from Turquoise. This in particular is the Aqua Racer. It's I've picked, for the purposes of this conversation, the Professional 300, which again, I don't know, I've gone with a black watch. This one has a little accent of yellow on the second hand, and also a bit of the font on the watch face is also in yellow, which kind of pops out and gives it a contrast to the black and the white that's there. You're gonna laugh when I show you the watch I'm actually wearing today, because it's very clear that I have an aesthetic. But in any event, this is a solid watch, and it retails, this model, which is slightly more expensive than some of the other Aqua Racer models. This is a $4,300 model, and it's powered by an automatic Calibre 5. I'll get my words out. And it's an updated Aqua Racer, and it's that on their website they call it a robust diver's watch. In terms of its seaworthiness, it is 300 meters water resistant. So again, it's like most of the watches. It's certainly not as water resistant as the Super Ocean that we were just talking about, which is, as we've established, is hardcore. And it's a 43 millimeter, so again, it's on the larger size without being enormous. It's a super sexy watch, guys. I wish I had them all, that I could open up a watch roll and show them to you in full view and in full color without the stock images that I'm shoving up on the screen for you. But it's a sexy watch. It looks cool, and it's at that price point, it's pretty affordable. Okay. The next watch I want to talk to you about, which I've recently discovered, and you're also going to laugh because it is what some people call the poor man's Rolex, and that is the Tudor Black Bay 58. Now, I've only seen this watch online. I haven't actually seen it in person, but I do love the look of it. There's something about the yellow and the bronzy color accents on the dial which pop and kind of make it iconic and vintage for me. It's an in-house movement. It's a 41 millimeter, so it's the smallest so far that we've been looking at, but it is heavier and higher in terms of its and I've totally lost my words, in terms of its profile to the Rolex. So there's lots of comments about that online, and it retails around 5,200 in Australian dollars. So again, it's still an expensive watch, right? Don't get me wrong, all these watches I'm talking about, they're thousands of dollars. They're expensive. They are someone's hard-earned money. You know, it's not like we just walk into a shop every day and go drop $5,000 on a watch every other week. That's not how it works. So I get that. So I'm not saying any of these watches are like, when I say affordable, I'm not saying, yeah, you can just duck out tomorrow and get them. I know most people save a long time for watches like this, and that's what makes it so cool, buying a watch that you've been eyeing off forever, right? Because you've earned it. But it is, I'm going to say, affordable in comparison to the Rolex, which we're sort of comparing everything to today, and also in comparison to the watch I am now going to talk about, which I'm also wearing. So I own this watch. This is my personal watch. It was a gift from my wife, and I've spoken about it before, and it is the Seamaster. So it's the Omega Seamaster Diver 300. And it's a master chronometer, and it's the 43.5 millimeter with a sapphire crystal domed case, face and back. You can see the movement in there. I know photography is not that great, sorry guys. I'll get some better photos for you. I don't have the date on this watch, which, to be honest with you, I don't miss. I really like having just the sort of the plainer, simple face to it. And I tend to wear it with my rubber strap. So there you go, in full view for you. It fits exceptionally well. It's a slightly smaller strap from memory. You know, I think it came in 2 sizes at the time and I got the smaller one. Being female, yes, I have a slightly smaller wrist than most guys. But for some reason I have a wrist that can wear a big watch, which I'm perfectly happy with because I love bigger watches. So there you go. It fits fabulously. This is probably my daily wear. Like, I wear this watch a lot. I mean, I wear my Panerai a lot, but it's a lot bigger. It can be a little bit harder to put some tops on, particularly as it gets colder and you've got to wear more cuffs. Whereas this watch, I mean, back when I worked in a corporate job, I'd wear this watch every day. I travel with this watch. It is fabulous. I love it. So at 43.5 millimeters, it's a decent size and it's 300 meters water resistant. You've got the helium escape valve, which is here. Sorry, can't see on the camera, which, you know, I'm never going to use it, but it's pretty cool. And 300 meters, 1,000 feet. I'm never going to use that. I mean, I'm never going to use 5 meters, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's a cool watch. Like, the whole concept of having a diver's watch that most divers probably don't even wear anymore because they have so much electronic equipment. It doesn't matter. It's the history and it's the brilliance of, you know, just having all this technology on someone's wrist as a tool. I mean, these are epic tool watches. And that's why I love watches, right? That's the coolness. That's where I get the passion for it. It's all about that. So to recap, going backwards, we ended on the Omega Seamaster Diver 300. We did the Tudor Black Bay 58. We went to the Tag Heuer Aqua Racer Professional 300. And we had the Superation Automatic 46 Black. All epic watches. I should say Omega came out at the highest. That's about $12,000. So that's kind of on par with the Rolex. It's probably actually just slightly more. Just for the model I'm wearing. If you get a different model, it is going to come a little bit under. And it's a solid. And, you know, the beauty of all these watches is, guys, you can walk into a store and you can get them now. No list. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video, and also don't forget to subscribe if you like me just talking about watches, and check out my website aussiewristwatch.com for all your watch accessory watch roll needs.